Alright, welcome back to the channel once again, guys. Today I'm going to talk about the class and class inheritance. So, as you can see, like in the previous video, I told you about um, call apply and bind method and link, to React to do app tutorial in TypeScript. And before that, I just made some call apply and bind method on the JavaScript. So in this video, I'm just going to continue that series and I'm going to tell you about the classes and class inheritance, how it works into the JavaScript. Most of the people don't know about that, and sometimes they get confused into that, like how we use super and constructor into the classes. So I'm just going to step by step, and I will tell you about the classes, and then I will inherit that class and use the same function of that class into another classes, so that how I can use. So let's start. So first I'm going to create a class into this script. So class A gonna be my class, and I'm going to create a constructor over here. And if you leave this constructor as empty, so which means whenever you call this class and you create a new object from this, so you don't have to pass any parameter into this class. And if you are passing like parameters A comma B, which means you have defined two parameter into this class default parameter. So what you have to type like inside every class will have their own this object. So if you know about the JavaScript, so that JavaScript is already object-oriented programming. So whenever you create any class, so that class will have its own object, which will be defined by this. So this is this, which means this denotes to this class A. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to define these variables inside this class A object. So this dot A equals to A, and same this dot B equals to B. So now what I can do by using this constructor, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use these two variables in any function which I'm going to define inside this class. So that's the feature of the constructor that we use. And whenever we call any class like this class, if I will call this class over here like this, new uh, const um, object A equals to new A, and I have to pass two parameter Abhishek and comma. So my A gonna be Abhishek and B parameter gonna be Kumar. So if I will call it, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do console.log object A dot A. Okay, now if you will see this inside the browser, so oh sorry, okay, source inspect. So into the console, so you can see I'm getting the name Abhishek over here because I have made this A tag global inside this class. So it's binded with this class A object. So that's why I can read it over here. And if I will console, like now I'm going to create a function over here. Let's create this function. So function would be, let's suppose the function is func1 func one one, and this function gonna be empty parameter. So I will just do console.log. So I'm going to show you this object, what is this inside this class, and also I'm going to show you what is this. uh, uh, these parameter automatically comes into that. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. So let's type something identifier that is, this is class A. So let's call that function over here because we have already defined it to new object. So let's object A dot func one. So you can see I'm getting the func one over here, and if I go on this, and you can see the page has been already reloaded because it's working as a live server. So you can see I'm getting the class A over here. Inside that class A, this is the this object. So this object is called as this, which I console over here. This, okay. So I'm consoling the this object over here, and and this is the result I'm getting right now, A and B, because I have already passed two parameter when I was calling that class. So inside my constructor, there are two variables already over here, and this is the function which I was calling into this object, and this is the result I'm getting. So let me clear one thing again. I created one class. I defined the constructor because if you are passing any value into your class, so you need to define a constructor, and if you are passing the parameters, so you need to pass these parameters like this, and you need to bind these parameter with the this with that class. Okay, this object with the this object of that class. Okay, so this denote to class name, this class, and this will be the only object of this class. Okay, so whenever I will call that class, like if I have to use the all the behavior and all the functionality of that class, so I need to just call that object like this, and then I can use that object like this. Okay, so that's the thing I can do. So right now I'm consoling over here. So apart from the consoling like this, I can directly pass it control X and control V. So you can see it like this. I can also call it. So you can see I'm getting the same result over here. So this was the class method. Let me create one more class, func2. Oh, sorry, another function. So func2 and console.log, and it will return this dot a plus this dot b. Okay, so we will get the value of sum of this dot a and this dot b, and I'm going to call that function over here just underneath of this object j dot func2, and let's see what I'm getting. So you can see I'm getting the like, so these two values are strings, so this string got added, so both the string got added, and this is the result of func2. Okay, so now this is your class and this is your class object feature. So same thing happens in multiple things, like if you are using somewhere else as well, so same feature works like that. And classes are very important if you're working with object oriented programming, and it's very useful thing that we should know. Okay, so now I'm going to move forward towards class inheritance. So let's copy this out, class inheritance. Okay, sorry, misspelled, it's inheritance. And now I'm going to create another class which gonna be inherit this A class. So I'm going to create class B and extends. Okay, it will extend the class A. Okay, and now I'm going to create a constructor into this as well. So what I will do, I will pass the parameter A comma B and comma C. I will pass three parameters inside of this. Okay, and that's for the constructor. So what I'm going to do, if I'm inheriting this class, so what I can do, I can call this constructor like superclass constructor. So this is your superclass. Okay, this is your always for this child class, parent class gonna be your superclass. So you can directly call the constructor of parent class like super, and you can pass the two parameters into this, and these parameters automatically gonna be added inside the this object of this class B, and I'll show you how it is. And now I'm going to add the third parameter, this dot c equals to c. if you are passing very if you passing parameter, if you want to use the constructor of parent class, so you can use the parameter like this as well, and you can pass those parameter inside the super, so all the variables of the parent class constructor gonna become inside the child class as well. Okay, so this is the thing, and I'm going to create another function func1 over here as well, and I want to use this func1 of this super dot func super dot sorry func1. So what it's gonna do, whenever I will call this function class B func1, so what it will do, it will call the func1 of superclass. So always remember that thing, like super will denote your parent class. Okay, and inside that super, inside your parent class, whatever the function variables will come, that gonna become like this. Like super is your global this object, like parent this object, just think like that. Okay, so now we'll see, we will see, because we are calling already func1. So whenever we call that function func1, we will get this console.log, and inside this object, I have to call two times this, but don't worry about that because both the words are same, but the motive of those words is different. So inside this object, what we will have, just I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, so let me just call this class, so object b equals to new b, and what I'm going to pass three variables over here, like 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, so I pass three parameters over here, and I'm going to call object b dot func1. Okay, so let's go. So you can see already, also I was getting the func2 as well over there inside this object b, because I'm already inheriting that class with the parent class, and also I have defined the super over here, so I can use that a class, all the function inside the b object. So if I will call this b object func1, it will it will represent you inside this object. Let's just go over there and console.log. Let me reload this page. So if you see, I'm passing the three parameters inside that B object. So you can see I'm getting the three parameters A, B, C. Okay. And inside the prototype, you can see I'm getting one constructor and func1. So which means the function I have defined over here, func1, func1, sorry. Okay. Now let me call the object B dot func2, and let's see what happens. So okay, so see, we are getting the sum of A and B. So that's the thing also we can do. So always don't confuse into this classes are very easy and very useful to understand. So always think like whenever you are creating a class, it's a kind of object that you are creating, and inside that class, whatever the function and variable you are writing, it's gonna directly come inside as an object. Whenever you call that function, whenever you call that class, it's gonna be created an object, like this is the object, and all the function and variables and properties gonna be comes inside this object. So you can call that object like this, and you can use that. And same thing if you are inheriting any class with the parent, inheriting any class, so like B is inherited with the class of the class A. So A is the parent and B is the child, so B will inherit all the property and all the functionality of A, but A can't inherit all the property and functionality of B. So if you call this B, so you can have all the things of A. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood, and that's it from this video. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll meet you in the next video.